Hello and welcome. This will be a tutorial on how to create a basic flow in Infor RPA Studio using OneDrive Activities and Outlook Graph Activities to get email attachments and upload them into a OneDrive folder. First, we will present the use case overview of how we will build the workflow, then present how to create the RPA flow and execute it, and finally, we will recap the list of activities used in the flow. For today's use case, we will need to build a flow that will read emails from an Outlook Microsoft Office 365 account, and for each email, we will store its attachments to a specified folder. Next, we will create the folder in OneDrive, share it with a specific recipient, and lastly, upload the downloaded attachments into the created OneDrive folder. To support this use case, we need to have unread emails in the Outlook account. For this example, we will have them in a specified inbox folder called Demo. And next, we need to create the one folder where the downloaded attachments will be stored. The last prerequisite is to have the Oauth provider Microsoft Office 365 created, an application Microsoft Office 365 authorized in Infor RPA Management. For more information on how to do so, check out our RPA user guide documentation. To build the RPA flow, we should go to RPA Studio and create a new project. For this tutorial, we will reuse an already existing flow and walk through how it was configured. Let's first focus on reading the emails from the Outlook Microsoft Office 365 account. For that, we need the Get Outlook Emails Graph activity, which allows us to read the emails from the Outlook account in Microsoft Office 365. Click on the activity on the design canvas and set up its properties. For email, in the folder name property, which will store the name of the mailbox folder where we'll read the emails, add the following argument. Mail folder name of type string with the default value demo. Then select the mark as read property. For retrieve top end mails, you can specify, for example, 3. For email list, we will add a variable instead of the argument. This variable will store the list of emails read from the Outlook account called mail list of type mail, and left without any default value. Now we will start reading the emails one by one. For that, we will need the for each activity and define its type property as mail, serving as a single object from the mail list variable. And for value property, define mail list. In the activity on the design canvas, you'll see the following text for each item in mail list, the item signifying the single object in the list of emails. Optionally, you can choose to add a sequence in the for each block as well. Next, the download email attachment graph activity will allow us to save the attachment for each of the read emails with the following properties. For the email property, specify item as we did in the for each activity. For save destination, the directory path should be defined as the argument attachment files of type string with the following default value. And for the file paths output property, create a variable called paths of type list of string. Now let's create the OneDrive folder where the attachments will be stored. For that, we need the create folder for the OneDrive Activities category. The folder name property should define the argument OneDrive write of type string with default value demo _ RPA _ OneDrive _ write. Next, the target folder will be the path of the file where the folder should be created. Leave the argument empty to create it in the root directory. Lastly, for reference, we'll create a variable instead of an argument. This variable will store the ID of the OneDrive item called attachment drive of type OneDrive item without any default value. Now we need to read the attachment from local directory via the Get Files directory activity. Its properties should be configured in the following way. For path, which is the path of the specific directory from which we would like to read the files, specify the variable attachment files used previously to save the attachments. And for files, which is the list of files read in the directory, we will need a variable called file list attachments of type list of string without any default value. Next, we will be sharing the created OneDrive folder using the share file or folder activity with the following configurement. For the file or folder to share property, which should contain the OneDrive item ID, specify the attachment drive variable output from the Create folder activity. For persons who will receive the files, under Grantee Permissions, select between Edit and View. For grantee type, which is the type of recipient for whom the permission is granted, you can select from the drop-down either Specific People, People in Organization, or Anyone. For recipients, which is the list of people with whom we should share the folder, we need an argument called recip of type array of string left without default values written between the brackets. And since we wish to specify recipients, enter the email recipients within the brackets as seen here. Then for require sign-in, select true, and for send sharing invitations mail, also select true. Now let's start uploading the attachments one by one via the for each activity and define its type property as string, serving as a single object from the variable file list underscore attachments. For value property, define file list underscore attachments. To start uploading the attachments saved in the local file directory to OneDrive, specify the following properties. Under the file upload property, specify item as in the for each activity. For in case of a conflict, select replace. The destination folder property will be defined as the output variable from the create folder activity, attachment drive. For the destination path, which is the path of the uploaded file or folder, let's create the variable folder underscore OneDrive of type OneDrive item and leave the default value empty. Now we can run the flow to see the execution. In the output page of the RPA Studio, you can check the logs to see if the activities were executed without throwing any errors. The activity code is 200, meaning that it was executed successfully. Let's also check if the email account was read successfully. You can see the created folder, which was shared with a few recipients, and the files we stored in OneDrive. Now you can publish the flow to RPA Management in the Infor OS multi-tenant environment. To do so, please follow our separate tutorial on how to publish an RPA flow into RPA Management and visit the developer portal at developer.infor.com. So during this tutorial, we have successfully read emails, downloaded their attachments, and uploaded them into a OneDrive folder using the following activities: Get Outlook Email Graph, Download Outlook Attachments Graph, and also workflow activities such as For Each, and OneDrive activities such as Create Folder, Upload File, and Share File or Folder, as well as Get Files and Directory from System Category Activities. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you wish to see more, check out our developer portal and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you will find the latest content.